Apple cranberry cobbler. Oh yes, who said you have to always make a pie? This is such a wonderful option. It is so much easier to make it. Oh gosh, thank you so much again for joining me. Welcome to this Cooking with Love channel. Do you see all these bubbles bubbling over here? Just wait when you try it. Oh yep. And guess what? You can even top it with ice cream or even without it. My family has grown up on this cobbler for more than 2 decades, close to 3 actually. We have been making this for special occasions or not, and it has been part of our celebrations always. So yes, of course, let's cook. We have very simple ingredients. And like I said, if you are thinking about making an apple pie and you're just running out of time and it's just too hectic, guess what? This is so easy. You don't need as many apples, and the food amount is, I think, even bigger. And yes, any occasions this is even good, and especially with this hectic time of the year that it creeps up on us so fast always. I am telling you, this was mandatory in our household in our during the Christmas and Thanksgiving. So you see, we are cooking just with some cranberry sauce, that they are whole cranberries, and we are combining them with apples. So I'll walk you, of course, through it. 4-6 apples, up to you. I actually end up using 5 here because depends on the size of the apple, of course, too. So keep that in mind. And we just have to, of course, peel them, and we are slicing them to as thin slices. And my chickens, they just love the leftovers. They were quite happy with it. Find your 9x13 baking dish. You don't have to even put any kind of oil on the bottom. And you see the slices are fairly thin, and the thinner, I think, the better, but it's up to you how much time you have. Maybe you want to make them a little bit chunkier. That's fine too, believe me. So you see, our apples are done, and we are laying them up on our 9x13 dish, like I said. And guess what? In season, when the peaches are available, this is another option. Just use peaches. No cranberries even needed. So keep that in mind too, of course. So our apples are all chopped up, and we have a whole berries cranberry sauce here. 14-ounce can, and mix them up together with the apples as evenly as you can, because you want to have a nice bite of that apple and cranberry in each bite. So we are sprinkling confection sugar here, powdered sugar, about 2 to 3 tablespoons, depends on how many apples you are using. And just cover that up, because we will mix all that up, and cinnamon. Again, about a teaspoon or 2, depends on how many apples you came up with for the recipe. And we will mix that again. I am very generous here with the cinnamon. I love the taste of the cinnamon in this recipe. It's such a holiday taste anyway, don't you think so? Yes, leave me a comment. What do you think? I know you will make this over and over again. I'm telling you, this is a decades of cooking, this recipe, and you don't have to tweak anything. You don't have to change anything, and it always is good. So yes, mix all of it up again to make sure that the confection sugar is mixed in. You can even use coffee grinder to make your own confection sugar, powdered sugar, out of regular sugar. So that's very easy. And like I said, 2 to 3 tablespoons, depends on how sweet you want to make it, or maybe you want to even skip it. You are allowed to do that. Okay, our softened butter here, about half a pound, that's 2 sticks, and cup of regular sugar. Those will be combined. We will be mixing them together, creaming them together. So yes, you will need a blender, but wait, I have a little tip for you. Don't do that yet. Okay, cup of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Mix all that together. I use Himalayan salt, that's why it's pinkish. Don't worry, no harm. Check what kind of salt you are using. Not every salt has iodine. Iodine is very important in our diet, so if you are using salt that doesn't have an iodine, you might want to reach for a supplement. So just keep that in mind. Because yes, Himalayan salt doesn't have iodine either. Okay, 1 egg. We are beating egg first. That's my tip. Instead of creaming the butter first, I always do the egg first, and of course once the egg is beaten a little bit, I add my vanilla, that half a a teaspoon or so, or a whole teaspoon, depends how vanilla-ish you want it to go here, and mix it again slightly again. And then I take my mixer to the butter, because that way it's easier to mix it. If you mix butter first, the mixer will not mix the egg very well. So do the egg first, have all the ingredients ready to be jumped from one to another, and that way the egg doesn't sit too long. And now we are creaming the butter and sugar. Again, make sure the butter is nice and soft, brought into room temperature, or soften it up in your microwave if you have to. And you see, just cream that up together, combine them together. No science education here. We are ready. So once we cream the butter, of course, we are adding our egg that was beat, and now we are adding the flour, and we are not beating those ingredients anymore. So your mixer is retiring. We are just using either some kind of big spoon or a spatula, and we will fold these ingredients together. And yes, I scraped up those eggs from my little dish there. So no, don't worry. I just had to set the camera down. So our flour is going in too, and like I said, just fold them gently in, enough to mix it. The butter itself will be quite thickish. It will not be a runny dough that you are making here. That's how it's supposed to be. So don't panic that maybe something you did wrong. No, it will be quite lumpy. You see what I'm talking about? I just wanted to show you what's the consistency here. That's how it should be. So now that we have all the ingredients combined for our dough, for the cobbler, and we are of course putting that all of it on the fruit. I like to do that in like little doubles all over the place, just like so, and slightly spread them. They really don't have to be even spread too much, because once they go in the oven with the heat, all that dough kind of flattens itself and it melts and it goes from corner to corner. But just in case, make sure you kind of have it close enough. It doesn't have to be perfectly covering the whole cobbler. And yes, we are going to preheated oven, 375 Fahrenheit, for about 35 to 40 minutes. Of course, depends on how many ingredients you end up in there, if it's that more apples or less, and of course on your oven too. So kind of watch it. Watch especially the middle of the dish, because the middle of it stays flattish, and at the point when it's risen, you might even want to check it with the toothpick if you are very concerned. I just made this so many times, I just know when that dough is ready. So like I said, when the middle starts to rise, when it's all cooking, I know my dough is ready and my cake is ready to come out. Wait for it. Yep, here it is. And now you just have to wait a little bit because it's too hot to serve. But guess what? You can store it very easily too in the refrigerator. I would recommend to cover with something, at least that's Saran wrap, once it cools off. And you can even preheat it the next day if you want it still to serve warm, a little bit in the microwave for that few seconds. Depends on the piece that you will cut. We cut them big. And it is very good warm. But again, you can serve it either way. The taste is incredible. Those apples and that cranberry sauce, it really does the magical trick with all that cinnamon and sugar. You can even cut down a little bit. Like I said, you don't have to use all that sugar, but it's up to you. You know, once a year, we just have to go a little bit off of our diet. So you see our cobbler is cooling off. It's still a little bit bubbling, but once it stops it, depends on how long you can wait for it. We normally can't wait too long. And yes, it will kind of fall apart if you cut a bigger piece and if it's warm, but when it's cold, it comes out way better. I like to flip it upside down. You don't have to. You can serve it the other way, just you know, with the cobbler dough on the top, and you can even sprinkle with some additional confection sugar if you want to do that. Once it's cooled off, I would recommend it because it will melt on you. So you see, this is how it looks like. There is a lot of food for everybody. You can even double this recipe and really be bad. And now this is probably just icing on the cake. Yep. Little bit of vanilla ice cream. It is really, really delicious. Try it. You don't have to, but I know this is a delicious option to have it on the top. You could look at little melting ice cream there. Oh yes. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything out. Have a wonderful and blessed one.